Do you think your dog would protect you? Most dog owners want to believe their dog would do anything for them. But then you watch your dog roll over for a belly rub from a complete stranger, and you start wondering if your dog would even notice if something was actually wrong. Here are 7 ways science shows your dog is already protecting you, most of the time without you even realizing it. Number 7. They stand between you and a stranger. The next time you are out on a walk and someone starts coming toward you, watch what your dog does before you even have a chance to react. A lot of the time, they have already moved in front of you. Their body shifts so that they are between you and whoever is coming. You probably just assumed they were being friendly or curious or trying to say hello first. But there is actually a difference between a dog who wants to greet someone and a dog who is putting their body between you and someone they are not sure about yet. A 2023 study found that over 80% of regular pet dogs place themselves between their owner and an unfamiliar person when they sensed even a mild social threat. These were not trained guard dogs, but ordinary family pets with no protection training, and they did this without any command from their owner. Something in them simply decided that being between their person and whatever was approaching was where they needed to be in that moment. What is interesting is that most dogs do this quietly. They do not bark and they do not growl. They just shift their weight and stand there with their attention locked on the person coming. They just want to make sure that if anything is going to happen, it has to go through them first before it can reach you. Nobody taught them to do this. You did not train your dog to stand in front of you when someone approaches. But they figured it out anyway, because something in them decided you were the one worth standing in front of. Next time someone walks toward you on a sidewalk or in a park, watch where your dog ends up positioning themselves before you even have a chance to react. Number 6. They warn you before you know something is wrong. You are at home doing your normal thing, and your dog suddenly starts barking at what looks like absolutely nothing. You check the window, you do not see anyone, you do not hear anything unusual, and you tell them to be quiet. They settle down after a minute, and you go back to whatever you were doing. But have you ever stopped to wonder if your dog might have been responding to something real that you simply could not pick up on yourself? Dogs hear frequencies that are completely outside the range of human hearing, which means they can detect sounds you have no chance of noticing. They pick up scents from hundreds of meters away and feel vibrations through the floor that you cannot detect. Research on canine sensory abilities consistently shows that when dogs alert to something, they are responding to real environmental signals in almost every case. The issue is not that your dog is wrong about what they are sensing. The issue is that you have no way to verify what they are responding to, so it becomes easier to dismiss the alert than to investigate it. There are well-documented cases of dogs barking persistently near specific spots in a home for days before a gas leak or an electrical fault was finally discovered. These were not trained detection dogs, but regular family pets who kept trying to communicate that something was wrong, and their owners only realized it after the issue was already serious enough that everyone could see it. Your dog is not barking at nothing when you cannot see what they see. They are just working with information that you do not have access to, and they are trying to tell you about it in the only way they know how. The next time your dog seems to be alerting at something that does not make sense to you, take a slow look around the room before you decide they are wrong. Number 5. They can smell when something is wrong with you. You are having a hard day, but you have not told anyone about it. You are keeping it together, going through your usual routine, looking completely fine from the outside. And then your dog starts following you around more closely than usual. They sniff you more, they stay nearer to you. And the way they are around you feels just a little different from their normal everyday behavior. You probably figured they just wanted attention or were being a bit clingy. But what if they already knew something was off before you were even ready to admit it to yourself? A study published in PLOS ONE tested whether dogs could tell the difference between a person's normal scent and the scent of that same person when they were stressed. Researchers collected breath and sweat samples from people both before and after putting them through a stressful mental task. Then those samples were presented to dogs in a controlled environment where the dogs could not see the people and had no body language or facial expressions to work with. Just the scent alone. The dogs correctly identified the stress samples 93% of the time. They were not reading the tension in your shoulders or watching your face for clues. They were detecting something your body was releasing chemically that nobody else around you could perceive, and they were responding to it by quietly staying near you. So when your dog starts hovering on a day that you are trying to keep it together, they are not being needy, and they are not asking for anything from you. They already know that something is off with you, and they are just staying close in case you need them to be there. The next time your dog seems to be following you around for no reason, you can figure out, take a moment to check in with yourself about how you are doing. Number 4, they carry your stress alongside you. You have probably noticed that your dog seems more unsettled during the harder seasons of your life. They are more restless than usual. They have a harder time calming down, and they stay alert even when nothing is happening around the house. But what if your dog is not just reacting to your bad mood in a single moment? What if they are carrying that stress with you over weeks and months? Researchers at Linköping University in Sweden measured cortisol levels in the hair of 58 dogs and their owners at two separate points across several months. Cortisol is the hormone your body produces when you are under stress, and measuring it in hair gives researchers a way to see what your stress levels have been like over a long stretch of time. What they found was that the cortisol levels of dogs and their owners moved together in sync. When owners had high cortisol levels over the long term, their dogs did too. When owners were calm over time, their dogs were calm too. The pattern held across both summer and winter samples. The researchers described it as the first time long-term stress synchronization had ever been documented between two different species. So your dog is not just picking up on your bad mood on a random Tuesday. They are in it with you across whole stretches of your life. When things get heavy for you, things get heavy for them too. They have been doing this the entire time you have been together without ever once asking you to explain what was going on. Most of the people in your life will eventually move on from your hard seasons because they have their own things going on. Your dog never does that. They stay in it with you for as long as you are in it. Number 3, they guard you while you sleep. You wake up in the middle of the night and your dog is lying right across the doorway of your bedroom. Or maybe they are curled up beside you facing the entrance to the room. You step over them or around them and go back to sleep without really thinking about it. But that spot they ended up lying in is not just where they happened to settle. They chose it for a reason. Dogs descended from wolves who survived in packs by making sure someone was always keeping watch, especially near the entry points where threats could come in while everyone else was sleeping. That instinct did not disappear when dogs moved into human homes. A 2022 study published in the journal Animals found that dogs consistently seek close proximity to their owners during rest because being near them increases their sense of security and reinforces the bond. Separate research on canine sleep patterns found that dogs sleep lighter and stay more physically alert when their owner is in the room compared to when they are alone or when only a stranger is present. So while you are fully unconscious and completely unaware of what is happening around you, your dog is lying there in a lighter sleep than they would otherwise choose. They are staying just a little more ready than they need to be, and they are doing it because you are the one they are watching over while you cannot watch over yourself. The next time you find your dog lying across your doorway at 3 in the morning, you do not have to step around them like they are in the way. They put themselves there on purpose. Number 2, they come to you when you cry. You are having one of those nights where everything just feels too heavy, and maybe you are crying. Maybe you are just sitting in the kind of quiet sadness that does not actually make any sound at all. And then without you calling them, your dog just appears. They walk over slowly and they sit with you or press their head against you and stay there. You did not call them. You did not even cry loud enough for them to hear from another room. So how did they know to come? Researchers Custance and Mayer ran a study where they had people either pretend to cry or hum a quiet tune, and they observed how dogs responded. The dogs approached the person who was crying significantly more often than the person who was humming. And the way the dogs approached mattered as much as whether they approached at all. They moved slowly and kept their bodies low, using the same gentle body language they use when they are being careful with something fragile. The response was consistent, whether the person crying was the dog's owner or a complete stranger. What the study could not measure is the part you already know from experience. Your dog does not ask you what is wrong when they come to find you on a hard night, and they do not need you to explain how long you have been feeling this way. They just come and they stay. Some put their head in your lap, some press their whole body weight against yours, some just sit close enough that you can feel them breathing next to you, and they do not leave when you stop crying. They stay until you are ready to get up. They came because they felt something was wrong, and they came because it is you. Number 1, they will try to rescue you when you need them. Most dog owners quietly believe somewhere deep down that their dog would do something if a situation ever got truly serious. Researchers at Arizona State University decided that wondering about it was not enough. They wanted to actually test what dogs would do. They placed 60 regular pet dogs in a controlled situation where their owner was trapped inside a large box and calling out for help. These were not trained rescue dogs. They were ordinary family pets with no rescue training at all. The researchers then compared how often the dogs figured out how to open the box and free their owner versus how often the same dogs opened a similar box containing a high-value food reward. The dogs were just as likely to rescue their owner as they were to go for the food, which is remarkable when you think about how motivating food is for most dogs. And when the owner inside the box was calling out in distress compared to sitting calmly reading aloud, the dogs moved faster and tried harder to get the box open. But the part of the study that stayed with the researchers was about the dogs who could not figure out how to open the box. Those dogs were not indifferent. They paced back and forth, they whined, and they showed clear signs of stress throughout the entire attempt. They never stopped trying to get to their owner. They simply could not work out how the mechanism worked. Your dog does not need to be a certain size or breed or have any kind of special training to want to get to you when you need them. The drive is already inside them, and it has been there since the moment they decided you were their person. So which one of these surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments below and tell us your dog's name while you're at it. If you found this helpful, hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.